just minding his own business. Oh, look, with a sense of arrogance, force. Ooh. NANI? Dynamite! So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? The things we forgot to tell you last week, right? Right. So of course we always starting off with some bull. CPD, Chicago Police Department officers raid wrong home, point gun at a 9-year-old boy. My life flashed before my eyes. So there's this thing that they do, and it's crazy to me. In police, this is the logic. A police officer will catch a bad guy, and this bad guy, in an effort to make sure he doesn't get into any more trouble, will say, "I know a guy who's doing shit worse than I am." And the police who have just captured this bad guy, and instead of them to, just take the bad guy, put him in jail, they'll then move on to investigate what this bad guy said to them under the duress of being punished. And this is what leads to a warrant being out for a 9-year-old child who is involved in no crimes. Not only, the thing that's crazy about this story is that not only did they raid the wrong house, arrest and traumatize this family of 4, when they then realized that they had been got, like they realized, damn, this dude got us, they still raided the house. They still turned every corner, nook and cranny, looking for any reason to justify them being there, because they don't have critical thinking. It's not part of the job description when you're an officer. It's not necessary. Guns were drawn even on small children when Chicago officers raided a family home. Dave Savina is investigating why this happened and how this family will never be the same. One guy said, "You better shut the F up if you know any better," said Peter Mendez. Ooh, I like that name. Peter was 9 when the trauma began. It was dinner time when Chicago police busted his front door open, invading his family's home. Assault rifles, maybe like a few pistols, Peter recalls. This happened back in 2017, and the video and everything is coming out right now. Back in 2017, they had 60 days to revise this. And the current chief of police, Chief Brown, who is a garbage person, because Chief Brown, for all y'all don't know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's a black man, he's this." This is the same Chief Brown that let the police department he was in charge of kill his son. Then he turned around and did nothing about it. Tragic story, right? Whatever, his son was dead, but there's no way I'm still a cop or trying to work for a police department that just killed my son. And then 2, remember the Misha Xavier Brown, the Dallas sniper who killed 9 officers? He was the police chief then. So this police chief is not effective at all in any aspect of his job, but he keeps being able to move around freely because, we don't hold police officers to any sort of accountability. It's just not relevant in it. Let's hear it from the kid's mouth himself.
Pointed at you.
Yes, 4 of us. 4 or 5 people said to my dad, "Get the F down, we'll shoot you."
And my baby's screaming, "Don't shoot my dad, don't kill my dad, leave my dad alone. What did my dad do?" Did they say they were sorry to you when they left?
No. I even tried to shake their hands. 2 of them just shrugged by.
I think the Chicago Police Department needs to be held accountable. They came in and they tore our home up. They tore our lives upside down. And we've never been the same.
And the thing that sucks is like, it's just an everlasting cycle. They don't care about whose head they have to step on. They don't care about who gets hurt. And all we can say is thank God they didn't kill anybody. And even this kid who has more in his heart and mind to say, let's call bygones be bygones, right? No, he won't have it. He won't allow it. He won't be there. So, hey, I hope they get some closure, but I also hope, just like this lady, a black woman involved in a botched Chicago police raid. Notice they're both from Chicago. Got $2.9 million settlement. She said she would have rather seen cops get fired. This happened back in 2018. So those kids about to get paid. All them kids about to go to school for free. But we covered this story. They barged in on her. She was getting out of the shower. She was naked. They still handcuffed her. Didn't think about putting a towel onto her till they had already started raiding the apartment by, guess what, another informant. So it's proof that the system doesn't work. $2.9 million settlement after a botched Chicago police raid in 2019. Young told CBS she would rather be happier seeing these cops get fired. Police targeted the wrong house, handcuffed the young while she was naked. Over 3 million people read Morning Brew. You should too. Oh, that's part of something else. A black woman received $2.9 million settlement over a botched Chicago police raid. She would have been happier if the cops involved were fired and she didn't receive a dime. Because that's taxpayer money, you hear me? That's our money. There's no amount of money that will right this wrong. Young told CBS Morning in an interview that aired on Friday, the money is not justice. Amen. But once again, General released a report detailing the aftermath of the raid. The city response, Chicago reported, outlined how individuals across the Chicago Police Department's Civilian Office of Police Accountability, Mayor Office failed to address wrongdoing in the raid, the report said. And remember, Joe Biden was all about, we got to give more money to the officers. Why are we giving more money to these people? They've proven no accountability. They've proven there's nothing about them that says that they're good at their job. So I'm baffled at why we feel the need to give them money. Like, what are they doing? So, it's just more taxpayer money. Taxes are already atrocious here in Chicago, but hey, it's another reason to get themselves paid or something like that, I guess. Like, we're just throwing money down the drain as I see it. This is a pleasant story from Ukraine. A Ukraine sailor in Majork. Ooh, somebody say this word for me. I almost bit my goddamn tongue.
Majorca.
The J is silent. Majorca tried to sink yacht of Russian boss. This is actually hilarious. So basically, the TLDR of this story is there was a sailor on the ship who recognized, while watching like what was going on in the aftermath of all the things going on, he recognized that one of the missiles that were being used in the war that was being used to attack Ukraine was a missile the owner of the yacht company might have made. I don't know how true that is, but he then took it upon himself and said, I'm not going to take it. No, we're not going to take it. And he proceeded to go into the lower decks of this yacht and try and sink this $7 million yacht or something like that. It was 48 meters, 157 feet, which belongs to, oh my God, these fucking names. That's not even a name, is it? That's just like
Rose Ober One Export.
Okay, that's just the name of a store, maybe. I don't know. Alexander McKeeve was docked in Mayor in Spain when the mechanic opened the valves in the engine room to try and sink the ship. That's effing amazing. This guy deserves a clap. You're a true hero. And even though you might be spending the remainder of your life in jail or under the persecution of whoever oligarch ship you just try to sink, know your kids will know you as a hero. Salute. I want to talk about this story because it popped up on my TikTok and it just brought something to light to me. Lawsuit for wrong sperm delivered to lesbian couple. This does put a smile on my face. A white Ohio woman is suing Downer Grove-based sperm bank, alleging that the company mistakenly gave her vial from an African-American donor, a fact that she said has made it difficult for her. It's so hard for me now because I have the responsibilities of bearing the consequences of my ancestors. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Same-sex partner to raise a now 2-year-old daughter in an all-white community. They're saying the quiet part out loud. Right? They're saying the quiet part out loud. Woe is me. I don't want to have the talk with my kid. I don't want to have to tell them racism exists and the racism comes from people like me who perpetuated it. That I have no mercy or no sympathy for this family or this twin, because aren't you supposed to love your baby no matter what? No matter what? You want to know the easiest way to guarantee you had a white kid? Get yourself some white penis. because why did you think, like, it's just weird, some of the things people do. Like, you could have done a plethora of things. You could have used a turkey baster for all you wanted, but it's this mindless self-indulgence. No, you're right. They're gonna probably end up raising a Candace Owen or Daniel Cameron or Brian Otita. But I think, moreover, the part that's bothering, they're not mad that they got the baby. They're mad that they're suing for damages because they have to deal with the effects of racism now because their child. So this child is probably gonna run away at the age of 15, and I hope they run to a loving family for the remainder of their life. I just thought it was funny. The tears is what keeps my coffee delicious. Shocking moment. Former teacher of the year chases student down a hallway and slaps him across the face for wearing a hoodie to class. Teacher was allowed to take early retirement. Jimtown High School teacher Mike whatever was fired, is seen on video slapping a student in the hallway. I gotta see this. Oh, he got impressed. Hold on. He got impressed. Kid's just minding his own. Oh, look, with a sense of arrogance and force. Ooh. Against the Teacher of the Year right there, everybody. Teacher of the Year. And he looked like he did that to a white boy too. He did that to a white boy. That's a lot of boldness right there. There he is. They clapped for his early retirement. There's a part of me here that doesn't understand. So parents and students backed. They supported. After that video. Imagine that video coming out and having students and teachers say, nah, he was justified. They backed him. They supported this. The student suffered visible injuries and was treated for medical staff. Slapped student in the face so hard the student's head hit the wall. Community board decided on Monday to allow him to retire early, which is bullshit. Indiana Department of Child Services and Elkhart County Sheriff Office are investigating. So he was arrested. He was booked, and his bail was like $1,500. It's just like I'm just baffled at like why they thought like I don't know, but that's what happens when you're like. When you go unchecked. I don't know what to make of this story, but the takeaway I took from this is there's a group of people, adults, who are blaming a child for not restraining himself and taking his hood off, but there's those same adults will not go turn around and condemn the adult who's supposed to be in control for hitting him. So it's just ass backwards to these. And there's something about like watching that kid, because that happened to a white kid. That couldn't have happened to a Daquan. Daquan would have squared up with your butt. Daquan wasn't going down. Daquan, Kanitha, and Shakita would have all came out the woodworks. That would have been an A-Town stomping on that teacher of the year. Because we ain't having it. It's baby's kids. Hey, has any of y'all flown JetBlue recently? Probably don't want to.
Pilot for JetBlue yanked from the cockpit in Buffalo after his blood alcohol level comes in at 4 times the legal limit for pilots. And how did he make it all the way to the cockpit? And who finally stopped him from taking off in a potentially catastrophic flight? Here's Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einer.
The early morning JetBlue flight was packed and ready to go, about to take off from a frigid Buffalo for warmer climes in South Florida, when police came for one of the pilots.
The passengers were aware of this. They saw this. I was right, it was right there all unfolding in front of them. That had to be very unsettling, for sure.
Cops say 52-year-old JetBlue pilot James Clifton had spent the night drinking at a bar near the hotel where he and his crew had been staying. According to this police report, the flight's other pilot told cops Clifton missed the crew bus to the airport and had to take an Uber. While passing through security, he caught the attention of a police officer and a TSA agent.
It is so unusual. As far as everyone's memory here in Buffalo, at the Buffalo airport, really no one can recall anything quite like this happening.
When police pulled Clifton off the flight, they say a breath test pinned his blood alcohol content at 0.174, 4 times the legal limit
he
for a commercial pilot.
So bad.
According to the police report, Clifton said he'd consumed 10 so-called tall boys, 22-ounce cans of beer the night before. And Clifton was also carrying a gun, licensed under a post-9/11 program that allows commercial pilots to arm themselves. Police confiscated the gun and 3 17-round magazines.
This couldn't be more serious. The idea of having anybody even slightly impaired in a commercial cockpit with all those lives behind you and all those lives on the ground below you, it's intolerable to have any impairment whatsoever. And from the point of view of a pilot, this is the end of a career.
The safety of JetBlue's customers and crew members is our first priority.
I just, there's a part of me that also says, like, the boldness, right? Just the boldness. What makes you, like... The other day, I had to do a drug test for my job. I work from home. I work from home, and they are more strict with me. Like, this guy made it. He almost made it. He got to the plane. So someone had to rat him out. JetBlue, man. That's why you got to fly Delta or something else, right? Delta, they don't play this nonsense. I hope he never sees a plane again. Hey, this, you want to know something? I'll say this. I don't know if the Supreme Court is like giving us these little wins just to lessen the blow later on, but the Supreme Court has been shutting shit down, from the election was a hoax thing to the situation about military involvement, to the gun issue, to the letting people sue Trump. They've been holding it down, and now they've delivered another blow to the GOP in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, where they were trying to do some extreme gerrymandering. And it's mind-boggling to me on 2 levels, because one, the GOP be so pressed to stop people from voting, but they have to still guarantee a way of them winning in the event people go out and vote, because the GOP isn't interested in getting you to vote for them anymore. They're just interested in stopping you from voting for someone else. And that's mind-boggling. But shout out to them. I think it was the Uncle Ruckus one on the Supreme Court. He ended up voting against this. I think Neil Gorsuch ended up voting against this as well. So, like, the thing that's just a little bit terrifying is that they still set it up. So like, and the thing that they constantly do, and I'm also bothered by this, they'll tell you no, but then they'll tell you what you have to do in order to get a chance to get back in there. So I just think that's a little sus. But as far as it's concerned, the Supreme Court justices are upholding constitutional rights thus far, but who knows what they're doing behind the door and with the smaller, less known cases. Aaron Rodgers is returning to play for the Green Bay Packers. List of people who care, I'm not one of them. I think Aaron Rodgers is a beta. It's very easy to see why anyone would think of him as this, because he's definitely someone who will fuck your life. And I say this with all due respect. We don't accept your apologies.
Accepted.
This is a dude who thinks, what's his name, is a genius, Joe Rogan. And if you really take full, like, a real look at him, Aaron Rodgers literally makes it to the third quarter of the playoffs game and then loses. The Green Bay Packers, ever since he got there, minus the one Super Bowl game they won, they basically are the Cowboys of the North. Let's just be real. Like, can we just say that? Clap it. The Green Bay Packers aren't a good football team. They are good enough to make it to the playoffs and go home. Oh, they don't even have to go home, because they'll win so many games that they'll get home field advantage and then lose in the first game of the third quarter of every season. Check it out. Look at it.
Damn.
I'm not lying. Think about it. But also another news, I heard what's his name? Russell. I want to say Russell Westbrook, but that's not his name. Russell Wilson, Sierra's husband. Or Sierra's wife. I don't know what I'm saying here. The guy who's banging Sierra, or the person, or should I say, Sierra, the man that's being banged. I don't even know how to say that with a feminine tone, because I'm so used to saying it the other way. I'm gonna figure this out. Hold on. Russell Wilson, the person being banged by Sierra. There we go. He got traded to Denver, so he got some big money. That's good for him. We love to see it. I know, Keisha, that's your boo. Hey. So Guy Raffet, first accused Capitol rioter to stand trial, found guilty on all counts. This is funny to me because this guy said, you know what? I was the first person arrested for storming the Capitol, and I'm almost sure that in the event I fight for my rights, I will win. And my man got the full extended law of Texas. Man, who is the first to stand trial in the prosecution of those who stormed the U.S. Capitol January 6th, was found guilty Tuesday on all charges, including obstruction of official proceedings for the role in disrupting the certification of the 2020 presidential election. Damn, that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, y'all. Shit. Guy Raffetti was found guilty of making the threats to obstruct justice, trespassing, transporting firearms, and bringing that firearm to the restricted area he refused to leave. Damn. The jury returned the verdict after less than an hour of deliberation. Get fucked. Yeah, you look like you was trying to storm some shit. Get fucked. We don't care. Beta. We love to see it. Florida Senate passes controversial school bill labeled "Don't Say Gay" by critics. Yeah, this is weird. More weird shit. Like, I try not to give energy to these stories because they end up being the gist, and they don't really enact anything. Like, this will get stalled out in the federal courts, and so somebody will acknowledge that, or someone will sue and acknowledge that it is against our constitutional rights and therefore be shut down. But this is just like shark food, little shark bits for Ron DeSantis' base, so he can later on in the 2020 primaries or whatever, 2024, he can say look at all the things he did to make you proud. Florida Senate passes bill on Tuesday with a measure aimed at limiting discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools. Parents' rights in education is the official name of the bill, but critics have dubbed it the Don't Say Gay bill, arguing that it would make life at school harder for LGBTQ kids. There's a video of Rob DeSantis. Let me see if I can find this. Please let this be.
I'm responsible for him, and I told him to wear that mask.
Dawn Marshall tells News Channel 8 she's very upset about what Governor Ron DeSantis told her son and 6 other high school students at the start of his press conference at USF on funding for cybersecurity education.
You do not have to wear those masks. I mean, please take them off. Honestly, it's not doing anything, and we got to stop with this COVID theater. So if you want to wear it, fine, but this is ridiculous.
In that moment, now viewed millions of times, Senior Eric Marshall opted to take his mask.
This is called peer pressure, kids. Don't fall for it. Don't be a sheep. If he said jump off the fucking bridge, it's safe, and are you gonna do it? This is the problem with our high school and our education system. It teaches you how to follow instructions. And what happens when the instructions aren't good? What happens when the instructions could lead you down a bad path? Constructive thinking. Critical thinking, all very important.
Did you feel pressure by the governor to do that?
A little. It was more of a
little. You a bitch. I am going to torment this kid. You didn't feel a little. You were incentivized.
Sure of an adult figure asking me to do something, and it's just like, all right.
It's just shocking that the governor told these kids, take off your mask. He pretty much said, take off your mask, it's stupid. And take off your mask, your parents don't matter.
Her initial reaction to seeing her son in the video.
Clearly more scared of his mama. But shout out, why aren't we talking about the king in the back? The one person, you can tell he has horrible, you can tell he is not, look, everything about him says everything you need to know. Natural hair. You feel me? This ain't no Daquan. This is a Raheem right here. This man right here, he dubales every morning to his parents. You feel me? Timmy don't count. Jose don't count. There's even a little Crystal down here. But Daquan and Raheem, there's a difference. Shokbo? You feel me? All right. But while we're in the topic of schools, tell me, if you were in a school, how old do you think a kid has to be to whoop your ass? A Florida teacher attacked by a 5-year-old student was hospitalized. An elementary school teacher was left weak and dazed and had to be taken to the hospital for treatment after an attack by a 5-year-old student, reporters say. Wait, what? Despite the attack last week at Pines Lake Elementary School, the young student will not face charges. The police department tells on Monday, a spokesperson from the police department tells NBC News that it would be difficult to show the 5-year-old has the ability to distinguish right from wrong. I mean, yeah, pretty much. I don't know. Get that teacher some Krav McGraw or something like that. McDonald's, Starbucks, and Coca-Cola join corporate America exit from Russia. These were the last holdout of a few big companies that refused to leave this whole thing. Like, I don't know who's eating McDonald's or drinking cocaine. Pepsi wasn't big on this either, but I'm happy to see it. Like, the more the Russian economy suffers and struggles, the quicker I think the shifting tides will come. But I think Putin's a monster beyond reproach, and he would willingly let his people suffer, similar to North Korea. Let's not pretend like we don't have examples of how this could go. The city that never sleeps. In our last story, New Yorkers made 270 complaints about loud sex last year, including one about a woman who wouldn't stop shouting her lover was a sexual tyrannosaurus. I want to be called a sexual tyrannosaurus. I need that to happen in my life now. Another about a backyard orgy. I feel like they're having a good time in New York, and there's a bunch of haters. But this is also like a consequences of just poorly made buildings now and apartments, because apartment complexes in New York are probably 36 by 36. And in my mind, I say to myself, like, if your walls are paper thin, I think that's a breach of First Amendment rights. I think like we should have better apartment structures, because I remember in college, hey, I ain't here to brag or say anything, but you know, they wasn't out here calling me Heero for nothing. And you know, I was out here called Double D. You feel me? And it wasn't my breast size. You feel me? I just think it's funny that like you call the police to report people having sex. So that's pretty interesting. But basically the breakdown is Queens was registered, so they really going hard in the. When you see these dogs in the streets, bing bang. Yeah, you know what's going on upstairs. 103 times Manhattan, 66, Brooklyn 55, Bronx 48, Staten Island a pathetic measly 4. That's true. That's proof. There ain't shit going down on Staten Island, man. Get your weight up, Staten Island. Bing bong. Bing bang. Anyway, but hey, you know, clap it. We made it. We made it.